Hi, everybody, and welcome. And I'm sure you've heard all about that because I don't know how to make Zoom where you can't listen to our chitter chatter before this conversation. So I always have people texting me that are like, hey, we can hear you, right? So I'm like, yes, but I think everybody is on now, so that's good. Welcome to James Madison University. My name is Jenna Schulman. I'm a college counselor in Northern New Jersey, where we have Trent Pace, who is an admissions counselor, who is now the New Jersey, kind of New York hybrid mix of a representative, where there are a lot of people in the tri-state area that go to JMU. I know Virginia people always say that everyone from New York and New Jersey is there, and New York and New Jersey people always say it's all lots of Virginia, and there's always like the divide between North Virginia and South Virginia. So a lot of people represented, so that's good. So I'm very happy to have JMU on today, and I'm going to hand things over to Trent Pace, who will be talking about admissions and academics, and he was a student at JMU and a master's student at JMU, so definitely a big part of the JMU family, so he can talk also about his time as a student there. So thank you, Trent.
Awesome. Thank you, Jenna, for introducing me. Can't see everyone right now, but I know whoever's there is there. So I just want to say hello. One thing we do say at JMU is, be the change, or being the change. A lot of things that I do enjoy at JMU is hearing the students' perspective in terms of what they would like to see, what they would like to do as a student. So again, my name is Trent Pace. I graduated from James Madison University with my undergraduate degree in 2017. My major was organizational communication with a minor in human resource development. And I just finished up my master's degree last year, and I was in the communication and advocacy program with a concentration in environmental communication. So a lot of communicating. That truly fits who I am. I'm more of an interpersonal communication type of person. So this transition to virtual instead of in-person has been somewhat challenging, but I'm slowly getting accustomed to this new change of everything. So if you have any questions or anything, feel free. I believe you have access to type in the chat box, and I will do my best in answering the questions as quickly as possible. It may not be into the end. I received an email from Jen about kind of the structure of how things will flow. And another thing too, I'm gonna make this as relaxed as possible. If you have any questions or you have anything you would like to know, please let me know. I'm not going to make this rigid or structured. As you see, I'm in my house doing the presentation. So this is definitely something that is not the norm of how everything's been going so far, which you're probably used to. So I'm going to share my screen, and I will be sharing a quick PowerPoint presentation. I'm not going to go over everything, I'm kind of just over a few things, and I want to make sure I'm respectful for your time too as well. So hold on just a second. Let's see. Okay, I'm pretty sure everyone can see the screen. And pretty much just JMU, just talking about our mission. As you see, it's like we are a community committed to preparing students to be educated and enlightened citizens who lead a productive and meaningful lives. So the reason why I love that mission statement, because we truly live out that mission statement. My time here at JMU, we have over 350 plus clubs and organizations, and there's pretty much a club for pretty much anybody who is at JMU. If there's not a club out there for you, you can start your own club. We are really adamant about telling students, hey, get involved in the community, get involved on campus, get involved in things that they may not be comfortable with, or they may not know a lot of information about. So we do challenge students to step outside your comfort zone, step outside the bubble, and stretch yourself. And when you stretch yourself, you'll start to see more growth as an individual and as a student. So that's one reason why I love our mission statement of being enlightened citizens who live a meaningful and productive life. So this is just a little bit of the basics of JMU. As you see from the screenshot, that's the quad. That's where a lot of students love to hang out, especially during the summer when it's beautiful weather outside like today. And sometimes people are playing, throwing the football around, kicking the soccer ball around, doing a lot of things on the quad. That's one of my favorite places on campus. As you see from the slide, we're one of the most innovative schools. One thing that I do love about our campus is that we're always just changing things to a point where we want to bring students back. That's one thing too. We have a 90% freshman retention rate. So that tells you we're doing something great to bring students back to campus after their first year. So when I'm on campus, one thing I do communicate with students is, what are some things that you would like to see on campus? What are some things that maybe we can do better as an institution to make your learning environment better, or even shaping it to what you're looking for? So that's something that I always like to ask students whenever I'm walking around campus is, how can we make this institution a little bit better than what it was before? And I really believe that's the vision that we are always sticking to. So next thing, cost of attendance. That's probably something that every student always asks me is, how much is JMU? Is there scholarships available? This, and that. So one thing too, I do let students know ahead of time, because I am an out-of-state recruiter, is that we don't have that much scholarship available, just because our tuition rate for an out-of-state school, for an in-state school, is not that much for out-of-state students. So as you see from the numbers that are on the screen right now, in-state, as you see from the tuition, is only $7,000. When you add the total up, it's about $24,000, as you see, and the total cost for out-of-state is about $40,000, which is not too much out of the ballpark range for out-of-state students. So that's the reason why we don't have that much scholarship available. But if you are interested in scholarship money, I do encourage students, talk with your counselor, check different websites that offer scholarship money. Another thing too is you can call JMU and see if you can contact the specific department that you're interested in with their major, and possibly you can find scholarship money through that specific department that will allow you to have maybe a little bit better price than coming in as an out-of-state student. So another thing too with our ratio of out-of-state students is we have a 77 in-state percentage and a 23% out-of-state ratio of students for in-state and out-of-state. So that doesn't mean that we are not looking at out-of-state students. It just tells you that, as you already know, we're an in-state, Virginia in-state school. So because Virginia to our school, but we would love to have more out-of-state students. So I'll repeat that again. We would love to have more out-of-state students as well. So this is just more information about FAFSA. As I mentioned before, the scholarships that we do have available, which you see right there, the Dingley Bluestone Scholarship, the Madison Award Scholarship, are merit-based scholarships. So it's based off of academics, based off of how well you've done in school, GPA, SAT, ACT, depending on what you have in those scores too, that might contribute to that scholarship. And I'll talk more about the whole admission requirement near the end too as well after this presentation. And as you see right there, the FAFSA is very important to fill out too as well. So JMU student life, as you see on the screen, we have done so much as a university. Last year as a football team, if you're interested in athletics, we have an amazing football team. As you see, 4 NCAA national championships, 5 CAA champion teams in 2018 through 2019. Another thing with student life too as well, as I mentioned, 350 plus clubs and organizations that you can choose from. The walk there, we have main campus and east campus. The average walk is, I would say, 15, 20 minutes if it tops. That's just the average based off of me because I'm 6'4", 6'2". I got long strides, so it doesn't take me long to get from main campus to East Campus. Another thing too is the variety of food to choose from. That might be talked about later in my presentation, but I'm just going to go ahead and mention that right now. Everyone loves food, I'm assuming, because you got to eat to survive. So we pride ourselves on food here at JMU. So just a little bit of information is that we have been ranked in the top 10 according to the Wall Street Journal for the best food for a public institution. We have been ranked number 5 according to USA News Today for the best food for a public institution. And we've been ranked for 17 consecutive years according to the Princeton Review for the best food for a public institution. So that tells you that we have really good food for our students, for our faculty, for our staff, to make sure you are eating well and living the productive lives that we want you to live. And if you have any food restrictions, if you might be picky with food, might be vegetarian, vegan, anything like that, or gluten-free, we have food options for you. And that's one thing that I do love about JMU. Another thing to also list off a few things that we do have on campus. We have 2 Chick-fil-A's, 2 Starbucks, we have Dunkin' Donuts, Auntie Anne's. We have 2 dining halls, one on main campus, one on East Campus. We just built a new facility. It's called Phillips Center. It's a place where students can go eat as well and study. And within the Phillips Center is a Panda Express, a Denny's. It's called the Den, but it's technically Denny's. Panda Express, Panera Bread. Those places are slowly being built at this moment too. And another thing too with student life, as I transition from food, is we have a new building for the basketball team, and that will be playing for the men's basketball team and the women's basketball team. It's called the Atlantic Bank Union Stadium. It's for the basketball team to play in, and it's just a great arena. I haven't checked it out inside yet, but from the outside, it is beautiful. So hopefully this information on the screen can give you an idea of what student life is about, and I'll touch more on it as I progress throughout this presentation, or if you have any other questions about student life, I'll be more than happy to answer those questions too. So yes, as I said before, this is just the national average, the JMU average of our graduation rate, our freshman retention rate, as I mentioned, sorry about that, as I mentioned before. And that's one thing I always pride ourselves on is our education and what we stand for as an institution. The resources we do have to as a student in order to be successful, we have a place called the Student Success Center. Within that place, we have a career and academic planning center. There you can have your resume looked over by those who work in that place. You can also perfect your interview skills. You can have time to research other jobs or careers that might be out there post-graduation. Another we have called Handshake. It used to be called Recruitaduke. Handshake is a website where you can connect with other alumni across America and see what organizations or jobs they're working in and connect with them. So it's a great networking opportunity for, we'll say, juniors and seniors to connect with alumni who might be working all throughout the US and maybe Fortune 500 companies, nonprofit organizations, culinary arts institutions, anything that you might be interested in. Handshake is a place where you can make connections with other alumni who are working at this moment. So as I said before, the alumni success, JMU is the #1 Virginia for post-graduation employment. That's something that we do pride ourselves on, as I said before. And below you can see the employers where we hire people or places that people have gone and worked for as well. And we do have JMU alumni who are CEOs of companies too. So for example, you might have seen a commercial from CarMax. I'm not totally for sure. I remember when I was up in New York this past fall, I saw a CarMax commercial almost every single day I was in the hotel. And the person who is the CEO of CarMax is a JMU alum. And also, I can't remember off the top of my head, but there was a female JMU alumni who is also a CEO of a Fortune 500 company. So it tells you the networking opportunities that are available for current students and even students who are on their way to graduation with other alumni too. So yes, as you see from this screen, just more information about the academic programs of what we have to offer. What you see as our top 10 majors at JMU, that's just only a few of the majors that we do have to offer too. And what you don't see too are the minors that we do offer at JMU, if that's something that you are interested in. Like I said, JMU was founded in 1908. James Madison University used to be called Madison College. It used to be an all-female college, and their main focus and goal was education, and it still is. That's why education is still one of our top majors that students are always asking for. And based off of the information that you see right now too as well, we do have a master's program for the education if that's something that you are interested in. And when you graduate from JMU with an education degree, it could be special education, it could be secondary education. Virginia schools, high schools, middle schools, elementary schools, they're always looking for JMU graduates to start working at their school in the state of Virginia too. You can also get your licensure for out of state too, and that can also translate if you want to teach outside of Virginia too. And I'll give you more information about that if that's something you're interested in, and we'll go from there. So academic engagement, as I said before, study abroad opportunities, that's something that I did not do when I was at JMU. I look back at my time and I am advocating for students, hey, if you have not done study abroad, I highly recommend doing that if you can. If you are worried about finances or not totally for sure if you can do study abroad, talk with your professor. We have a 16-to-1 student to professor ratio. The average class size is 25 students. So you do have an opportunity to connect with the professor. You do have an opportunity to ask questions or even ask them, where can I go to get some money to do some study abroad opportunities. So that's something that I do encourage students, hey, check out study abroad opportunities. It is available for you. And if you're interested in more about that, I'll answer those questions at the end too. So applying to JMU, this is pretty much why I'm here, is to explain the admission process of JMU and what that looks like too. So how we look at students is based off of their core academic classes. So your math, social science, science, English, and your foreign language classes. We want you to make mostly A's and B's within those core classes. Another thing too, I believe I was reading those questions that I received from some of you, is that we are a test optional school. I know sometimes that word test can be using at times, so I try to be as clear as possible. It is not required. That's the word choice I like to use. So in other words, if you decide to send in your scores, it's not going to help you get in. And if you don't send in your scores, it's not going to hurt you. So that's what we mean by test optional. It's not going to be the deciding factor of you getting in or not getting into the university. Another thing too is that we have early action. Early action is non-binding. So that means if something or anything comes up, you can withdraw your application and go somewhere else if it leads to that decision. So we want to make sure that as a student, you have the flexibility to do what you need to do. So that's what early action is. It's non-binding for us. And regular decision, as you see, is January 15th. And it does not matter if you do early action or regular decision. It's really on you as an individual. If you feel that you have all your classes completed, if you feel that you do not need to repeat another class, then you can go ahead and do early action. But if you feel that you need to maybe repeat another class, or if you feel like you want to beef up your grades a little bit more, then go ahead and do regular decision. It's either or. It's really on you as an individual for what works best for you. And if you have any more questions about the admission process, I'll tell you more. Just please ask me about that too. Another thing too is we have a section on our application. We have a personal statement that is optional. As I said before, we are a test optional school too as well, and extracurricular and activities that is optional. Those are some of the things that you will see on our application. We are not on the Common App. We are only on the Coalition and the regular application through our website. So if you have not started a Coalition application, just go ahead and do an application through our website. It is a lot easier to complete going that way. So Harrisonburg community, there's a lot I can say about JMU, about Harrisonburg. It's truly a college town, if anything. That's one thing that I really enjoy about the Harrisonburg community. I'll give you an example. So I transferred to JMU in 2014. And when I first transitioned to JMU, you know, as a student, you got to make sure you make that Walmart trip. You're getting the groceries you need, the big refrigerator, the microwave, or any other food that you don't want to share with your roommates. You're making sure you're making those grocery store runs. So when I made that run to Walmart for the first time in Harrisonburg, people seem so friendly. Some people say it's Disneyland. And I tell people, I can definitely see why people say that, because people are just willing to help you out and just ask you questions like, hey, is there anything I can do to help you in any type of way? So that's one thing that I do love about the Harrisonburg community. But for a story, when I was at Walmart, I was backing out of the parking lot, and I'm from Northern Virginia. That's my hometown, Chantilly, Virginia. And normally when I'm backing out of the parking lot, you normally don't have anyone that is helping you back out of your parking spot. And when I was in Walmart, literally I was backing out and I saw a person behind my car and they were like, hey, you're good. You can back out. I was like, oh my goodness. Like I never had anyone help me in such a way like that to just get me out of my parking spot. And after that, I was just like, wow, this community is amazing in terms of how we help other people. And I love it. Downtown Harrisonburg. So that's exactly where I live right now. And downtown Harrisonburg it's beautiful. It's one thing I like about the place is everything's walking distance. So downtown Harrisonburg is literally a skip and a hop from main campus. So I can walk from my apartment complex to my job, and I'm on main campus in like 8 to 10 minutes, depending on how long your strides are, as I said before. But it's not that far apart too. And another thing too about the Harrisonburg community is I love hiking. We're not that far from the Shenandoah Valley, as you see from the slideshow. And there are plenty of hiking trails you can choose from. We are truly deep in the Shenandoah Valley. The mountains are beautiful. If you would like to even rent equipment from JMU, we have the JMU Rec Center, and they allow you to rent maybe snowboard, skis, or hiking stuff that you would like to have. And you can take trips up to Madison. That's where students, families love to go hiking. They love to go snowboarding, skiing, anything like that too as well. So there's just so much you can do and a lot of nature to really appreciate in this area as well. So that is all that I have. And this is a quick video. It should be able to work, and hopefully the sound will be good. Everyone here?
JMU has so much to offer, both academically and in student life. There's so much to get involved in here. People are so friendly. They care. The teachers actually get to know you.
Things I've learned at JMU have transformed me as a person.
It's hard to put into words. It was just something inside of me. I was like, this is where I should go. This place has just impacted my life in so many amazing ways. Everybody wanting to be there for one another, everyone wanting to help one another, everyone supporting and uplifting one another. I feel like that's what you get from JMU.
Here at JMU, there is definitely a unique spirit.
As soon as you step on campus, you're going to just fall in love. JMU created such an environment that I could express myself. I think that the spirit here is home.
It has just been the most incredible years of my life.
Okay, I think that was it. So yeah, this is just our social media handles that you can check out. We're on Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, YouTube as well. And those are options that you can choose from if you would like to follow us and check out more information. So I will unshare the screen.
Thank you, Trent. We do have some questions, a lot actually. Somebody asked, are there many students from the Midwest?
So yeah, that is a great question. Percentage-wise, I am not totally for sure specifically, but we do have students from the Midwest who come to JMU. We can say, I see applications if I'm helping some of my coworkers read, maybe Ohio, Michigan, Minnesota, some out in Texas, Colorado, few here and there from California. I'm trying to see other apps where I've seen Washington. So you see it here and there, but not as many as you might see from New York, New Jersey, up and down the East Coast. So it just really all depends on, like I said, finances and everything too.
What is the out-of-state percentage?
So the out-of-state, about 23, 24% for out-of-state and like 77 for in-state. Just because, as you already know, we're an in-state, Virginia in-state school, and we receive more applications from students in Virginia.
Okay. How many students live on campus?
Percentage-wise, I would say, I'm just gonna give you just the facts in terms of what, as a freshman, you have to live on campus. So you will have a living situation already mapped out, planned out. So that's something you don't have to worry about as a freshman. After your freshman year, you do have an opportunity to live off campus if you would like to. But as a freshman, you have to live on campus. And when you come in as a freshman, you can't have your car, but we do have something called the Harrisonburg Transit System. It's free for students. And the Harrisonburg bus goes all throughout campus and even off campus. So if you need to make a pit stop anywhere off campus, like the store, barbershop, CVS, or anything like that, you can take that bus and they'll drop you off at Walmart and you can get your groceries, get back on the bus and walk on campus too, and get back on campus too. Another thing too, our Walmart that a lot of students go to, it's more of our community Walmart. It is literally across the street from East Campus. So some students do walk from East Campus to Walmart, get their groceries, then walk back. So that just tells you how close a lot of things are in Harrisonburg too.
How many fraternities and sororities are there? And then what's the percentage of students involved?
So let me look it up real quick to see how many fraternities and sororities we do have in terms of percentage wise. Because I know we have Greek life, as I said before. We do have nonprofit Greek life fraternities and sororities if you want to just do things within the community. But I want to give you the exact statistics in terms of percentage wise of what that looks like for Greek life. Okay, so we have about 31 chapters on campus of fraternities and sororities from approximately 20 to 250 members, which makes up for JMU Greek Life about 20% of the student population, if that helps out the percentage wise.
And then do you have to be in Greek life to have a strong social life?
You do not. So as I said before, I transferred to JMU in 2014. I think the hardest transition for me when I transferred in was trying to establish, what's the best way to say it, friendships and a community because I did not know too many people. But one thing I loved about 1787, this was for transfer students and even freshman orientation, is that there will be plenty of opportunities for you to network with other freshmen who are coming in. If you plan on transferring, it allows you another opportunity to network with other transfer students. So I didn't feel too much like the small fish in the big pond when I came to JMU, because JMU did a phenomenal job in the transition of making me feel comfortable coming in and not making me feel not connected to JMU or even other people who are transitioning to the campus and everything else. So you do not need a strong Greek life to have communication with other people on campus.
Okay. And what made, this is a good question. Thank you, Chris. What made you come to JMU? What moment did you realize that it was where you wanted to be?
Mm-hmm. So what motivated me to actually come to JMU, I came in originally as a business major. And when I was doing my research, it was either George Mason or James Madison University. But like I said, I did 2 years at Northern Virginia Community College, and I told my parents, hey, want to get a little bit further out and experience something different. So that's one reason why I chose JMU, because of their business program, which is one of our top programs that we do have at JMU, and we're nationally ranked, which you can see. And another thing too, we are in the process of completing the new business building as well. So if you do have a chance to come down and check out campus, you can see the transformation of the business building. So that's the reason why I chose JMU. And how I ended up as a communication major is this one class that just kept kicking my butt. And I was like, man, I'm struggling with this one class. And talking with my mom, my dad, other family members, I just needed to take a step back and prioritize, was business the right fit for me? Was it my niche? Was it something that really lined up with my talents, my gifts, my passion? And when I honed in on that, I was able to find that communication was actually the right fit for me. So even if you hit the roadblock coming in and you're struggling with the class, or maybe you are not sure what you want to major in, that is totally fine. Majority of our students do come in undeclared, but you have to declare your major by your sophomore year. So that's one thing I do love about JMU, and how we do stand out is you're not forced to pick a major right away. There's so much that you're thinking about when you first come to college. It's a different chapter. It's a new chapter in life, and we want to make sure that the transition is not too overwhelming. We want to make sure you get accustomed to the whole new ambiance of what the whole college transition is about.
We have a few people that asked about demonstrated interest. Does JMU track demonstrated interest and utilize it in the admissions process?
So we do not track demonstrated interest. How we do keep track of students who might come, say, hey, can I come just for a visit? Or do you have any more information? Or if we don't have any information on you, with your address, your school, and your major, that is how we gather information, but we do not track it, and it is not a factor, and it is not factored in terms of you getting into the school or not.
Can you talk a little bit more about housing and dorm choices and housing in general?
Mm-hmm. So as I said before, as coming in as a freshman, you have to live on campus. You have living situations on main campus and East Campus. Like I said, it's about 15, 20-minute walk. That's just an estimated guess. You can take the bus from Main to East Campus if you want to. So the Office of Residence Life, they deal with the living situation in terms of your roommates, who would you like to live with. If you don't have anyone per se in mind that you want to live with, there is a roommate matching thing. So you can fill out this survey, fill out this information saying, what is your preference? Are you a night owl? Are you an early bird? Are you someone who likes to be social, not social, etc. Things like that to help match you with a person that will probably be the best fit for you if you don't have someone to live with right away. Now, if you do have someone that you know that is coming to JMU, obviously they can match you with that person and you can live together too. We have a new building called Paul Jennings building that was just opened up last year. It was more geared toward transfer students who wanted to live on campus if there was any openings on campus for transfer students. But like I said, freshmen get priority to live on campus though. But with everything changing because of like COVID and spacing, I'm not totally for sure what the living situation will look like right now and further on. But the Office of Residence Life will be able to give you more information about the details of what that looks like.
And what is the learning plan this year? Is it remote, hybrid?
Mm-hmm. So as of now, this was just recently an email from the president. He said we are adamant and we are planning on opening up August 26th, and the freshmen will begin moving in August 21st. So it's going to be a blocked off moving section. So freshmen will move in for like 3 days. Then after that, it'll be like transfer students, then upper class. So we're making sure to space people out so we're not all moving in all together like we might have done in the past. Another thing too that has changed, JMU, which I enjoy and I love this, is that we normally, but we're not doing it this year because of COVID and everything, we normally help students move in. So if freshmen have, big refrigerators or big poster boards or giant chairs, we have, as I said before, 350 plus clubs and organizations that are there to volunteer to help you move in all your material or all the things that you have into your new room or building as well. So there's a lot of changes happening. But as of now, we are planning on opening up August 26th.
And are classes starting in person?
So some classes will be in person, some will be hybrid and online. It will really all depend on your professor or your major. Every major, every professor will have the ultimate say in what they want to do, depending on the comfortability of how they feel in terms of teaching. One thing we do have in our COVID JMU outline plan is that every student has to have a mask. And if they don't have a mask, we will have them provided in the classroom if need be. And we have different things set up across campus, hand sanitizer, dispensers. We have on the podium where normally professors present is kind of plexiglass to prevent any spreading of germs when speaking, anything like that. So we're slowly yet expediently getting there, preparing students to come back. But I see we're doing a great job so far preparing students right now.
Great. When do you anticipate on-campus tours starting again?
That is a really great question. I was actually in the office yesterday talking with someone about this, and we are not totally for sure yet. I think we will have a better understanding when the students do come back. The campus tours will begin. I'm just trying to gauge it and see how many students are coming back, what is it going to look like before we maybe start making the tours and everything too. But if you want to come on campus and do a self-guided tour, you can go to Madison Hall, go to the first floor, and you can pick up a paper brochure and it'll be a self-guided tour. And you and your family, they can walk around campus and check out things that they would like to see. But like I said, it's not guaranteed that every building will be open because of summer or COVID or trying to prepare for the opening of the fall. But you can walk on campus and observe what is going on too.
Okay. Somebody asked, will Madison be open now? But I don't know what that means. I think
like Madison,
the campus, right?
I'm pretty sure, yeah. Yeah, James Madison is open now. But like I said, certain buildings may not be open for you to walk through to just sightsee. But as a campus as a whole, yeah, as a campus as a whole, you can take a tour around campus.
Okay, good. Somebody asked a question that I know the answer to. Was JMU test optional before COVID-19?
Mhm.
Yes, they were.
Yes, they were. Uh, they were test optional, I believe, in 2015 or
I think last year was the first year, maybe the year before that. It all is blending together. But they were one of the only. It's all now a mesh because of COVID. But JMU is really only one of the only public schools that is test optional, or one of the few schools, I should say, prior to COVID. So it was great for students that like wanted a big school, rah atmosphere that didn't have these strong test scores to set, right? Because all of the peer institutions like Virginia Tech and UVA and Maryland and Penn State and Delaware all required past tense tests. So JMU was the one that didn't, and that was great. Now they all do. Or now they all are test optional. So, but they did lead the charge on that. So it was nice for those students. So yes, but then like I'm guessing all the years after this year, you'll still remain test optional.
Mm-hmm.
Good. So if you have any underclassmen, that's good to know.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, did you have anything to say about that?
Oh, so it's just a question someone asked about the pre-professional programs. So I just want to just quickly address what that looks like and what that is. So with the pre-professional programs, we have pre-veterinarian, as I believe someone asked about, pre-dentistry, pre-med. All these pre-professional programs are just setting you up and preparing you for like schooling down the road. That's what it really is for. So with the pre-professional programs, you have to pair that with a major. So for example, you can do pre-med and pair it with biology as a major. You can pair it with health science as a major. You can pair it with psychology as a major. It really depends on what you are looking for. You really have the choice in making that decision. But with every pre-professional program, you have to have a major paired with that. And you will have an academic advisor for that major that you choose. This is with everybody in general. And you'll have an advisor for your pre-professional track. So you don't get things too mixed up or convoluted, but to make sure that you're focusing strategically on what you need to do in order to graduate on time.
Okay. How many international students are there?
Mm-hmm. So I'll give you the percentage in terms of international students. You have a 1.7% of international students. So as I said, not too many international students as we would love to have, but we do have a place called the Center of Global Engagement. As I said before about study abroad, that's a place where you can gain more information about what study abroad opportunities are available. And that's also a place where you can learn more about even international studies and what it's like to travel abroad. So the Center of Global Engagement is a place where I do talk with international students at times and getting their perspective on JMU and what they enjoy and things like that too as well. So just a side thing, when I was a graduate student, I had a chance to talk with students from Hiroshima and Nagasaki too, and hearing their experience about what happened years ago with the US and what took place, it's fascinating on how they are learning in school and how they have made that recovery to where they are now. So one thing that I've learned from them is that they teach the history of the US bombing Nagasaki and Hiroshima, but they don't allow that pain or the resentment to get to them. They teach them and they teach them how to love and how to forgive and how to move forward. So it was just a really interesting and awesome experience just hearing from students who were from Japan and how their learning environment was totally different than the way we might have learned here within America. So I thought that was just a awesome experience.
Does JMU have a Chinese program?
We do. We have a Chinese major. I don't know specifically the details of what classes you might be taking within that, but we do have that as an option.
What is the difference between the main and East campus?
Mm-hmm. So main campus, I would say main campus is where we have D Hall. That's one of our dining halls. East campus, that's where our other dining hall is. That's where you find health science majors on East campus. You'll find anthropology. You'll find geology. I'm trying to think what else. More of the technological majors on East campus. Main campus, you'll find more of the liberal arts, College of Business. The football stadium is on main campus. What else you will find? The quad is on main campus. So you might find more social things on main campus. That's one thing why we do say main campus, because students, parents, that's normally the first spot that people go to instead of East campus. East campus, you'll find the new Atlantic Eagle Bank Stadium where the basketball team will be playing is on East campus. So in terms of what is offered, you'll find more things on main campus than East campus. That's in long story short.
Okay. Can you speak about the School of Media Arts and Design?
Mm-hmm. So the Media Arts and Design, so you have, I believe you have the communication department, then you have SMAD, that's what is short for the acronym School of Media Arts and Design. There you would focus more within journalism, if you want to do like Adobe, Microsoft type of thing, that's something that you can do with that. Broadcasting with School of Media Arts and Design. And another thing too, with that, it's located in Harrison Hall. That is an open major, so that's something that you don't have to apply and wait to get into that major. You can begin to start taking classes right away. Every major is different in terms of what it looks like to get in. Some majors you can begin taking classes right away. Some majors you need to take prerequisites before you begin classes within that major. So that's a little bit with the School of Media Arts and Design. If you want to do broadcasting, journalism, photography, work with Adobe and things like that, that's pretty much what that program is about. And they do some awesome stuff too in terms of the creativity, and like I said, internships too as well are available pretty much with any major that we have offered at JMU.
Okay. Can you talk about internships? And then I have a follow-up. Oh, I just realized you can't see me. I have a follow-up of some people get concerned, like, I live in New York City and I want to be in New York City and I want internships in New York City, but I'm in, Virginia. So can you talk about internships, and then like maybe what kinds of cities recruit out of Harrisonburg?
Yeah, so with the internships, as I said before, at the beginning of my presentation, Handshake is a website I encourage students to utilize to see what internships or what opportunities are out there in terms of work-wise or internship. Getting to know your professor is something that I do encourage students to talk to their professor, talk with your academic advisor, because everyone will have an advisor as they make the transition to JMU and as they go on through their time here at JMU. So they'll let you know what might be available. So talk with them, see what might be out there. And during the summer, during the winter break, if you can too as well, do some research of what programs are out there, what jobs are available that will allow you to come in part-time, paid or unpaid, in that certain area that you might be looking for too. So I think that's one thing I always tell myself is you have not because you ask not. So I think that's something that I always have to remind myself is the worst thing someone say is no. And we need to realize to step out of your comfort zone and here at JMU, we want to prepare students for the next chapter. As I said before, the Career and Academic Planning Center, they are a great resource to go to and talk with someone about what internships are available to as well, because the title speaks for itself, Career and Academic Planning. They want to help you prepare you for your career and for future endeavors as well.
Now, going back to SMAD, is a portfolio required for that?
It is not required. I need to see if there is a specific concentration that you would need a portfolio for, but based off of what I believe, you do not need a portfolio. Now, if you're going into art or art history and that type of major, you would probably need a portfolio, but School of Media Arts and Design, I would say you do not need a portfolio.
Okay. Are there graduate programs for the health sciences?
Yes, there are graduate programs for the health sciences. Like I said, if you're looking into the pre-professional program, you won't really find any graduate programs for that, because that's preparing you for something postgraduate school. So if you're looking to go into that school specifically, I don't know specifically the details of what schools we have available through the health sciences within the graduate program, but we do have that available for students though. And the application process for the graduate school is separate from the undergraduate process. So you'll be going through a different application process if you decide you want to do graduate school at JMU.
Okay, and lastly, we have a few more. Are there direct entry majors? Which majors are hardest to get into?
Mm-hmm. So I would say business and nursing. Definitely two of our top 5 majors at JMU. Business, you have to take prerequisite courses before you apply to the business school. So within those prerequisite courses, they might be, for example, accounting, macro, microeconomics. You might be taking an access class that deals with computer information systems. Those might be prerequisite courses you have to take. And you have to average a 2.7 GPA within those business courses. And once you have averaged a 2.7 GPA and have completed all the prerequisite courses, then you can apply to the business school. So if you have met truly that standard, you're in the business school. And after that, you would take a class called COB 300. COB 300 is like a class that has a little bit of management, marketing, economics, accounting. It's a conglomerate of everything all in one. You can take COB 300 at JMU, or you can also take that class study abroad too. And they have COB 300 available in Antwerp, Germany, and you will be there for a full semester taking COB 300. And after 300, then you'll be able to focus on your specific major that you aimed on focusing on originally. For example, if you wanted to do marketing, if you wanted to do management, if you want to do specifically accounting, after COB 300, you would begin focusing on your major. So I know I said a lot, but those are just the requirements for business. And nursing. Nursing program we have been recognized as the #1 nursing program in the state of Virginia. So that process of how that works has changed just a little bit. We originally only allowed 90 students into the nursing program per semester, but that has changed. I'm not totally for sure if they have updated the website yet in terms of that number, but it's no longer 90, but the number is increasing because we have been recognized as the #1 nursing program in the state of Virginia. So there are prerequisite courses for the nursing program that you will have to take, and you would need to make mostly A's and B's within those classes and do well within those classes, then apply to the nursing program. Now, if you don't get into the nursing program, you can reapply again, but you can't reapply that next semester. You would have to wait. But if you don't get in after, I'll say the third, fourth, fifth time, etc., we do encourage students to look at other majors that could possibly fit or be analogous to nursing, such as health science, even doing a pre-med track and picking up biology or chemistry as a major with it. So that's something we do encourage students is if they don't get in a second time into the nursing program, start looking elsewhere that could be a possible fit to what you might be looking for.
Okay, awesome. That was really helpful. Thank you. Any final thoughts? Maybe, why somebody would pick JMU over some other fabulous Virginia universities, or maybe some other of the overlapping schools that I mentioned before? Like, what do you think makes JMU stand out?
Yeah, so one thing that I believe makes JMU stand out is you make your experience what you make out of it. I know that sounds very cliche, that you probably heard it already before, but the reason why I say that, because my time here at JMU as an undergrad, as a graduate student, it was never the same. So in other words, it was never the same because I was able to experience something different that allowed me to get out of my comfort zone and grow and stretch myself and do something different in order for me to focus more on my skills and things that I want to do. I think there's just so many opportunities, so many resources on campus that it's so hard for one person to cover. And that's one reason why I tell people, do something different. Like if you have done something for multiple years or consecutive semesters, try something different that JMU might have to offer. Maybe try a new club or try a new dining hall, or get to meet new friends by joining different organizations or clubs that can get you out of your comfort zone. Another cool thing too that is just interesting facts about JMU is there's a record. We hold a record for the longest hallway in the ISAT building. So in case some people may not know about that, is that the hallway, the ISAT building, it's on East Campus. It's beautiful. The hallway joining the three academic buildings together makes ISAT the longest academic building on the East Coast. So one thing that's pretty cool about that is you can literally walk from one side of ISAT and feel like you're going like 3 or 4 miles. It's just that long of a building. So yeah, another thing too, what I do love about JMU, why I think it stands out too, is just the student to professor ratio. I mean, a 16-to-1 student professor ratio for a 20,000 undergraduate body student family, it's like, that's a very unheard of. It's not a normal thing that we are a big yet small university, that we still want to make sure you are connected with your professor and connected with even students and people within your classroom. So hopefully that answers some of your questions too. And one thing I encourage everyone, as I said before, come check out the campus. I can continue to advocate as much as I can for JMU, but it's always different when you step foot on campus and experience it for yourself. And that's something that I had to do when I transferred in, is I heard great things about JMU. It was not until I stepped foot on the quad and I said to my dad, I'm home. This is family. I love it. So yeah, thank you so much, everybody.
Thanks for being here. I thought that was awesome, and I hope that everyone does get a chance to go and visit, because I've been before and it is super beautiful, right in the Shenandoah Valley region area. I think I pronounced that right. So I hope everyone gets to see it, and thank you for being part of this, and hope to see you in Jersey soon.
Yes, awesome. Thank you, Jenna, and thank you everybody else as well for joining.
Bye, have a good night.
You too.